Hey guys, so I read the book The Working Poor by David Shipler. And in the beginning of the book, Shipler speaks about working poor and how their life is different. Um, in the book, it is heavily impacted with children. If the children are raised in a negative environment, then this will negatively impact them. However, some of these influences may not be intentional because of the parents working, but I say this because a lot of the parents can't spend time with the children, therefore, they're not able to positively impact the children. Um, so, what I want to get into is how this really relates back to our readings that we read in class. So, I believe that this takes a big impact on the educational attainment between the father and the son, and how the father's occupation really reflects what the son would do. Because in this book, they talk about how the children really just follow in their father's footsteps, and how they don't do really any other job or get an education because they're just grandfathered into their job that their parents had. Well, most of the jobs in the book, the parents are working class, working poor, so they work blue collar jobs and pink collar jobs that we talk about in class, and these jobs don't provide any kind of benefits for the children or the families. So um, it's really hard for them to move out of the poverty level because they rely so much on the government. Shipler also does a really good thing explaining the working poor. He talks about the migrant workers that come in that are also in the working poor, and how those jobs are labor intensive and long hours and don't have any benefits. So that's really hard on the families as well. And it just really shows how the social hierarchy of the classes is different. Because, like we read in class, the Gilbert Call model, which expresses the different social classes, it's a great model because it just divides up the classes from upper class, middle class, lower class, and working class. And it says that the top class draws from the capitalist properties, and then the intermediate classes rely on different occupational levels, then the bottom relies on a mix of the unstable jobs, income, and the government payments, which is the food stamps that people have to rely on. That's also a lot of food stamps that people use, they have to budget, and that was a really good assignment that we did with the budgeting, because mapping out everything for the groceries and what they can spend on expenses and everything like that helped out a lot, because we don't take in consideration that in everyday lives, because most of us are middle class. Another thing that is important that Shipler talked about in our book is the low-income families, and how there is stress because of their no benefits jobs, and how there's anxiety at the house because they're never home to take care of the kids. And one thing that really shocked me when I read the book is that there's abuse in these lower class families, because the stress level is so high that they don't even see that the abuse is going on because they're always at work. But 1 in 4 children in the lower class families are sexually abused, and it really shocked me at first, but then I had to reflect back on everything that we've learned about how they're always constantly working, the no benefits, the stress, everything like that. It all just adds up together in order to create that lower class stress. In our readings, I like to talk about Lee, Leahy. Lee conducted an experiment where she interviewed the children in these lower class families and a mixture of the upper class families as well. And she just wanted to see if they could actually tell the social class difference in those classes. Well, they were able to, but it came relevant that the older children, who were more developed, more matured, more understanding of all of these psychological effects that may have negatively impacted them with the abuse, were able to identify these social classes better. The older children were able to determine that the different social classes by psychological experiences, and the younger children only mainly place materialistic things into their lives. But my overall reflection of this book is that the lower class sometimes gets overlooked and doesn't seem to be as stressful or as anxiety based as they normally are. But I think it's really important to keep that in consideration when we're living our daily lives. All right, hope you like it.